everybody out there. I am your host. Yes, that's right. We are back. It's Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. We are the interview series that has been bringing you for 8 years. Yes, count them, 8 industry experts from all over our beautiful globe, and they help improve your personal life or grow your business. Today, we have a really great guest. This is going to be lots of fun, I have a feeling. We have Anthony. He's a thriving young, yes, I said it, young entrepreneur, showing others how to successfully take the journey into running a business that gives you the financial freedom. And, for me, most important, time freedom that you really want. Everyone says, oh, let's be an entrepreneur. Let's have a business, don't work for the boss, for the man anymore. But then guess what? You end up becoming a slave to your own business, and it's worse than an employee because you're paying everything out and forgetting to pay yourself, and there's no revenue, no money at the end of the day. So you're pretty much a volunteer within your own company, trapped in your own time. We don't want that to happen to you. So guess what? We're going to have some conversations with Anthony. Before we start this, Anthony, I'm going to give my little disclaimer. I'm going to say, yes, I am the Italian mother of 7, and we have great 8 grandkids, but I am not your mama. I am not giving you medical, legal, financial advice. Neither is Anthony. We are sharing our stories. We are telling what's worked for us, for our clients, the experiences we have. We are masterminding, collaborating, and giving you information that you then want to take to a professional. Go see a CPA, a professional. Go see a financial planner. Go see an attorney. Do the things you need to do for your professional business. But we hope to help you with some inspiration and some ideas here. So welcome, Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jessica. I'm very happy to be here on your podcast and just give some tips and talk about my journey as, like you said, a young entrepreneur. So I look really forward to the show and going over different things with you. Again, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So what made you decide, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to go for this journey. Where were you before that? And how did you kind of step into that space?
Well, that's a story that I like. So originally, before I became an entrepreneur and came into that realm, I did exactly like you said. I was the 9-to-5 guy. And I thought I did well. But, during that 9-to-5, I actually ran a body shop, and we worked on a lot of high-end cars, a lot of famous people's cars. And through that, I saw that these people, I was always intrigued about what they did for a living, right? So somebody driving the $300,000 car, the $500,000 car. In the past, I always thought that was unattainable. Right. And then as I started working closely with them, I realized, I said to myself, wow, these people are just like me. They're just like you. They're no different than us. And so what I did over the course of like the next 4 or 5 years is every person that I worked with, I asked them every time, what do you do for work? What do you do? What do you do for a living? And it was the consensus, obviously, that, they were all business owners. They were all entrepreneurs. They had different streams of income. And I just sat there one day to myself, being younger, and said, these people are no different than myself. Why can't I do that? What can I do to get that, $300,000 car. And I know everything's not about materialistic stuff, but it really, was very eye-opening to say, like, these people are no different than me. They're no different than you. They just took specific steps, very calculated steps to get to where they are.
Yeah, I have had recently the same experience. So I am working towards adding a chief operating officer and launching a new program that is teaching and really allowing people to have that 2-hour workday and have more time freedom than anything else, which is just so incredibly important to me. So what did you do then? I mean, just starting out your brand new business, what was your product or service, or what were you deciding to do with your first business?
So luckily what I was able to do is talk to my mother, Lisa Dalton. She's actually the founder of our company. And she's been in the insurance industry at this point. She'd be mad if I told you it's probably about 30 years. Uh,
And still looking every bit as young and spry.
exactly, exactly. So what I did was, I went to the source and saw, well, you know what? Like my mother, she's an entrepreneur. I never looked at it that way. I always just looked at it like she was my mom. That was her business. But I never realized like, she was doing the same thing that these people were doing. So I spoke to her and, I just asked her, can you give me a chance? I never worked for her. She never asked me to come work for her. And I never asked myself. I always just thought, that's her thing. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to make my own path. And, it was after that, like I said, where I really sat down, talked to her and said, listen, like I want more for myself, and I see the things that you've done. I see the childhood you were able to give me in the life, and I want that for myself. I want that for my future family and kids. And, at that point, she said, okay. She said, listen, you're going to work just as hard as you're working now for somebody else, but you're going to work for me. And she said, when you get to the point where I think, she goes, then it'll be yours. And, you won't be an employee. You'll be my partner. So I said, you know what? Absolutely. Sign me up. And it was from there where I then went into the field of financial advising and insurance. And it's funny to look at where I started. And if there's any advisors or insurance agents out here listening to this, the first thing I did start with was final expense. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's very small burial policies pretty much. And with that is they're good when you need them, but they're also the first thing that somebody cancels when they run into money problems. Because they're very small and it's a certain type of demographic that get the policy, because they think that they need it. So that's where I first started. And to be honest with you, Jessica, I hated it. I was
Well,
like,
it's a sad topic too.
yeah, exactly. I went from talking to these people about their cars, which, I have a love for, cars, to talking to somebody about, hey, you
One
need
day you might not be here.
yeah, and me, my personality, I think I'm a little upbeat and happy. And it's like, I had to flip it and be like serious and sad almost
you
because,
can't be happy about that. Hey, you're heading out one day. Let's cover that.
yeah, exactly. And hey, this is how much a funeral costs and this is how much a casket is. And it's like, so it was something that I started with. And, I'm glad I started with that because it almost humbled me because, like I said, if there's any advisors on here listening, that's like the lower end of the totem pole of life insurance and financial advising. Some advisors would say that's not even financial advising. You're just getting started. But it was from that where I started. And like I said, I'm glad that I did that just because it gave me the groundwork to say, okay, like I could do this because although I didn't like it, I didn't want to, one, fail myself or, the biggest thing, fail my mother. She gave me the chance. So I said, you know what? Although I don't like this, I'm going to be the best at it. And that's, the mentality that I've had even before when I was working for somebody else 9 to 5 is, even if I don't like this, I'm still going to be the best. And I'm going to figure out how to surpass what I'm doing to get to do something that I do like. So it was the beginning there. And then, over time, once she saw that, hey, I was doing well, that's when I started to transition over to speaking directly with clients personally, and talking about, the different policies and stuff to saying, hey, I want to get a sales team, right? I don't like talking about this stuff with clients, but I want to manage salespeople and I want to show them how they can be the best. And that's where my transition over to that part of it was.
Yeah, and I think that's actually the transition that most business owners and entrepreneurs need to have in order to have this financial freedom and time freedom we've been discussing,
Mhm.
right? So, one of the things I started 5 years ago in my agency, and I have a sales and marketing firm for not the last 9 years, but 5 years ago, we added a division of virtual assistant membership program because there's so many things like you wanting to get the sales force and taking that piece off of it, and then just having those meetings and touching base and doing the training and supporting the company from that standpoint was more fulfilling for you and more time
Mhm.
effective, right? Because now there's
Exactly.
5 of you out there selling it instead of one, right?
Mhm.
And so the same kind of concept with using automated tools and funnels and AI and VAs, which is a lot of what we support our clients in setting up and establishing the systems and things. And I think that's huge in helping them get there. So what kinds of clients are coming to you? Are you doing some business coaching and consulting, or are you still very focused in the financial planning space and insurance products, or what's your journey now?
So what we did, that was years and years ago where we started with the final expense and things like that. And then over the time, things progressed. We went into different markets and stuff and, tried a bunch of different things, and it worked for a little bit until it didn't work.
Mhm.
And, for me that it was frustrating, being new into the business and things like that. For my mother, she looked at it like, hey, this is the name of the game. You do
Mhm.
something, it doesn't work, you adapt and you do the next thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what we did was, where we landed is we transitioned into the federal market, which
Mhm.
at the time and even now is a very niche market. And that's like, once we hit that, it was like probably, I could say truthfully, the most fulfilling thing that I've done is
Mm.
working directly with, federal government employees. And
Mhm.
the reason being is, as an agent, insurance agent, financial advisor, half your battle is explaining to somebody, why they need to save for their retirement or why they need life
Mhm.
insurance. And the thing with federal government employees is from the day they start working, that's ingrained in them. They're
Mhm.
told you need to save for your retirement, you need life insurance, you need these different plans. And, they know that. So it took away
Mhm.
half that battle. But what we noticed going into that field was, they have these great benefits, but the biggest issue with them is, they have nobody to guide them, nobody to help them. They sign up, they start working somewhere. HR gives them 5 pieces of paper. Hey, sign up for this plan. Yes, yes, yes. And then they work for 20, 30 years and they think they're going to retire and they're all set. And the truth is, that's not the case. The
Mhm.
plans that they have are okay, but they're not all set when they retire, unfortunately. And the federal government, despite how large it is and how many different departments and how many different things they have, entities, they don't have anybody to go over their benefits, make sure they actually are truthfully set up for their future and retirement. So
Mhm.
that was like a big, that really hit home with us saying, hey, not only can we be an entrepreneur, have our own business, make a ton of sales, but on top of it, we're like truthfully helping these people to the fact
Mhm.
that we're changing their lives, now and in 20 years when they retire.
And
Um,
for the legacy that they want to leave behind, right?
exactly, exactly. A lot
Mhm.
of people don't realize, you get life insurance, you pay for it now, that's something you're doing for your kids,
Mhm.
your family. And it's, to me, that's like, that's an investment that's, it's invaluable,
Sure.
to say, hey, it's something hard to talk about, but hey, when I pass, I'm going to make sure you're set. Up financially.
Mhm.
So it was where we landed with federal government employees. And that's really, like I said, where we really, hit the home run in terms of the market is still almost, I don't want to say it definitely is, but it's almost untouched. There's
Mhm.
nobody out there working it compared to, the regular civilian world where
Mhm.
there's tons of people working life insurance and advising and things like that. So I would say we did the federal market. We went in that direction. And then for me right now, what we're doing is, we said, okay, we conquered this market, so to say. We're helping at this point thousands of federal employees, their friends, active military, retired military. And, we said, how can we show, because throughout it, we realized, there are some people working it, but they're so, I don't want to say uneducated, but they're unfamiliar with, these intricate government benefits.
Sure.
Because unless you have a family member or, a spouse that's in the government or, retired military, active military, you're very unfamiliar with the benefits. And there's really nowhere to go and learn that. There's no school you can go to. There's really no classes. So we said, okay, how can we continue to do what we're doing, helping these federal employees, but also making sure that when they do talk to an advisor who's not myself or my mother or, the other salespeople we have, how can we make sure that they are, still helped and helped accordingly? So what we did was we came up with Dalton Training Academy. And what that does is it's, you can be a new advisor, you can be, a brand new insurance agent, you can be a seasoned advisor. But what it does is it's an online course, an interactive training platform, and it teaches you the ins and outs of the federal market. It teaches you how you can help these federal employees, their benefits, breaks down what each, different thing is for them. And then it shows you, okay, now that I have these tools, how can I go myself and, make a living from this? So it's
so you're not just supporting the federal employees, their friends and family in the world of directly supporting them with education and information to properly have their pieces set up, but now you're working with your peers in the financial planning industry to say, hey, this is some information that you really need to help you support clients who have this kind of work situation in their families or in their lives personally. So is that continuing education credits for them? Is it certified for that yet? Or have you gone through that process?
It is not. It's not continuing education. We are looking into that though, because I think
that's a great idea. Yeah, that's
I think that would be awesome to help people like that, and just give them that satisfaction that they are also getting that from it as well.
Yes, absolutely.
But it is something that nobody else is doing. There's no other type of school out there or training or course that's teaching advisors on how they can work the federal market. Because like I said, it's so untapped, so it's like you're killing two birds with one stone pretty much.
Based on what we know, the world is a big place. So based on what Anthony and I both know personally, I've never heard of one. He doesn't know of one. Maybe there's one out there, but it's very rare. And apparently Anthony and their corporation have really figured and dialed this in and figured it out. So if you'd like the shortcut so that you could grow how you're supporting and how you're working with this specific type of client, and you want to learn more about it, you totally should check out this academy. So that's fantastic, Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else about the business you want to share with me before we move on to giving everybody a special tip?
Yeah, absolutely. Another huge part of our school that we have is our mentorship program. And I think no matter what business you're in, you should always have mentors. I think you should always have more than one. And that's something that we offer at our training academy is mentorship to pretty much a way like I like to sum it up is it compresses years of trial and error and gives you the shortcut to success. And
without as many as the bruises, right? Without as many as the bruises.
Yeah, exactly. So our mentorship program is really something that, on top of the training academy is one of my main focuses, just because, again, I love helping people. I love being able to show somebody, hey, you can do this too. you can help people and become financially free at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. So what's a good tip you could give everybody watching today?
A good tip that I can give everybody watching, I would say is, you know, if you are working a 9-to-5 job and you're afraid to take that next step into owning your own business and becoming an entrepreneur, that you'll never know where you're going to be if you don't just try it.
Mm-hmm.
Just take that leap, and you're either going to hit the ground or you're going to fly. And I'm going to say, if you really want it that bad, you will succeed.
Mm-hmm. I agree totally. Really just find someone who's that much a bit ahead of you, like you said, with the mentor, and get them to guide you through. A lot of people will guide you step by step. You just have to be brave enough. Be brave enough to take a step, right? To move forward, one foot in front of the other, right?
That's the hardest. I would say that's the hardest part. People are just afraid to take that, I guess
that first action. Yeah. Because it really, people think about it, they plan about it, they dream about it, they hope about it, but taking that first action is huge. I love that. So all of you out there watching, we love you to pieces, and we know that you have causes that light you up and make your soul sing with joy. And so if you have a cause that you love, put it in the comments and hit the share button, because now is a great time for all of us to be a hero for just a minute by hitting share. We're going to hopefully inspire someone to give time, treasure, and talent to a cause that they care about. Remind them of one they are thinking of or that they love, or be inspired by the one you put in the comments, or maybe be inspired by the one our guest Anthony will share today. Anthony, what's the cause that's close to your heart?
I just want to say before that, Jessica, I love that you do that. We were talking about that earlier with the causes. I think that's great. But one that's close to me, I would say, is veteran suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is there's the statistics for veteran suicide, every minute is really heartbreaking to say. That's as much as I could say about that. It's heartbreaking. And, out of anybody, I think they deserve the most help. They've given
just letting them know they're not alone, that there's a community that loves and supports them. There's a hotline for them. There's resources for them. I think that's wonderful. My dad was in the Navy. My son is active duty Army. So, anything military related, I'm a sucker for. I know what the families go through. I know the sacrifices that are made. I know the lives that are given in the line of duty, and we don't want any of those lives given because they didn't find support. And so that's a really great cause. So thank you for sharing that. We want to prevent all of that we possibly can, and have people live out their joy and their passion, be inspired and inspire others while they're on this planet. So put your cause in there, and now you know it, you love it. We're going to have the ultimate book list. I can't wait till that's pulled together of all the books our guests have recommended to us over the years, ones they've written, ones they've read, that they are inspired by. So give us a book. You too, put in the comments a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business, Anthony.
I would say it's one of my favorites is by Tony Robbins. I think he's just an awesome individual. He's an insane entrepreneur, and one of the books is Money, Master the Game. And it pretty much, obviously you have to read it. I think it's like life-changing. I think anything by him is life-changing. I'm under the Tony Robbins spell, I would say.
Well, you know what? You have a Tony Robbins energy about you. I have to say, you could probably be a Tony Robbins lookalike. Like,
really, I appreciate that. That's a compliment.
Seriously, like when he was way younger, of course. But no offense, Tony. You've aged okay. It's all right. You're doing okay. But I remember my husband we're both like self-improvement junkies before we met each other, and we've been together 25 years now. And when I first met him, I was learning about all kinds of self-help books and things to improve myself, but I hadn't been introduced to Tony Robbins yet. I was, young. I was like 28 or something when I met
Mhm.
my husband, and he had the cassettes, like,
Oh,
cassettes, not
wow.
8-track. I'm not that old, but he had the cassettes, and I listened to them. And this tells you how old our car was, in the car while I was
Mhm.
driving around doing my radio advertising sales job. I was new at it. And so as I
Mhm.
drove from client to client, I had Tony Robbins in my head, so I love him too.
And
And
you
I
felt
think,
good about it too, probably,
yes,
right? You felt
I
good
was like,
listening.
this is great. This is great stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm a fan of all the classics: Napoleon Hill, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, all the people who have done so much to inspire generations. Some of them
Mhm.
beyond their lives, right? Some of them are no
Yeah.
longer with us, and yeah, great book suggestion. I love that. And
Mhm.
I don't think we've heard a shout out from our Tony book in a while. So that's a
Wow. Okay.
great. How about you? Have you ever thought about writing a book, or is that something on the horizon for you at some point in the years coming?
Yeah, so it's definitely something that I'm interested in, and I've been looking into it recently, so over the next few years, I would like to, take some time that I have and really put, because I have a lot of ideas, I have a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
life experience that I think would benefit others. And even if it benefits one person, that's good for me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, over the next couple of years, I definitely would like to, you know, put something together and get something out there for sure.
I'm just going to brainstorm with you live
Okay.
on broadcasting here. I'm wondering, do you still have some connections with the car place that work with a lot of the high profile car
Mhm.
owners? Do you know what
Yes,
would
I
be
do.
awesome? It would be awesome to pull together a book of all of these business owners with
Mhm.
their pictures of them with their like amazing cars, and do their story, and then do some of your mentoring or business guiding on how someone else could take what they did in their story and how they could apply it to their business or their life or whatever. And then it would have photos of these awesome cars,
Yeah,
and you'd get to interview all these amazing people, and hear their story and share their story to inspire the people.
that would be awesome. That's a great idea. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's a good one, man. And it
There
would be
we go.
fun. And it would be fun,
It would be,
right?
yeah, it would be.
And so maybe you'd even get to have a little spin in the car with the person and like do a short live stream video from the inside of the car together,
That would
that
be
kind of
cool.
thing. Yeah, I
That
mean,
would be
for
really cool.
promotion for the book, because you got to think about
Yeah,
marketing, got to do the marketing.
yeah.
So I hope one day there's a book, there's a business, a car, and book out there with all those wonderful things together.
That
I
was a
think
great idea. I
you would
appreciate it.
dominate the market, man. No one else has done that. No one else
Yeah.
has done that. And I mean, not just men love cars. There's businesswomen out there who are nuts about their favorite vehicle, all
Yeah,
souped up and
absolutely.
tricked out. And you would have to find at least one woman who had like a wicked sick,
Mhm.
really cool
Oh,
car. That would
they're
get
out
your
there for
visit,
sure.
and yeah, and interview her too.
Mhm.
So that it would be not just the men's club kind of a book.
Yeah,
So anyway, I just had that idea. I thought that was
that's
great.
awesome. See, this is why I love doing things like this. This is
I'm
why I
giving you
love
homework.
it.
It's unsolicited advice. That's the Italian
I
way.
appreciate it.
So if you've written a book out there, stick your book in the comments. We want to promote it for you. We'll hit the share button. You hit the share button. Everybody will hit the share button. And your book and everything that you have to offer the world will be out there too. And if you have written a book, or you're just a really amazing industry expert like Anthony here, and you can help improve someone's personal life or grow their business, then you should get on the show. Reach out to us and our team, and we'll let you know just how to do that. But before we close out today's amazing show, Anthony, thank you so much for being here. This has
Thank
been
you,
so much
Jessica.
fun. I hope you enjoyed it too.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on the show, and appreciate the great idea for the book. That's awesome.
That was a bonus.
Yeah.
No charge. Now, before we let him go, don't worry, I haven't forgotten. We're going to get a final piece of information or inspiration. Inspire us, Anthony. What do you got as we close our show today?
My final piece of inspiration for everybody listening, just want to say thank you for everybody also that took the time to listen to me and listen to us together. And final closing piece, I would just say, like before, if you're on the cusp of entrepreneurship, or, you're just not happy with what you're doing, you only live once. You only live once. So take that risk and take that chance, because again, like how I felt, I'm no different. Jessica's no different than any of you guys. So you could be up here, you could be sitting, in your expensive car and, owning your own business. And, the biggest thing is helping others. So you're right there and you're able to do it. You just need to take that leap.
Take the leap. I love that advice. Be bold, be brave. And until next time, I'm your host, Jessica Koch. This is Profound Professionals. And until our next show, be kind to yourself out there and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.
Take care.